Hey there, YouTube. This is Fragments of Memory once again, aka the Armchair Philosopher. Tonight's video is going to be about, well, black conservatives. I may have done this video before, but I just wanted to revisit this topic. I was listening to WGNU 920. It's sort of a community radio station. It used to be talk radio, then it switched to contemporary Christian music, and now it's sort of a music station slash Christian slash community radio station. And there's this man by the name of TD Elamine, and he does a show, or TD Amin, I think, TD Elamine or TD Amin. And anyway, he had a black conservative on by the name of Star Parker. Now, I'm not opposed to black conservatives. I'm not opposed to any black man or woman being conservative or holding conservative views. Matter of fact, I myself have some conservative views. For example, I'm opposed to abortion. And yes, we always talk about the woman's choice, but what about the life that's inside of her? Um, I do believe in God. I do believe in Almighty God. Now, being Muslim, I call him Allah. Um, and that a man is ultimately responsible for his own deeds. So I do believe that a man, he's responsible for his own deeds, and that one day he's going to have to go to Allah on the day of judgment and give an account for those deeds. But I, as the individual man or woman, am responsible for my deeds. So I'm not always quick to holler, let the government bail us out. However, I'm not going to shun help where help is offered. And I want to say that because I don't want you to think that anytime I see a black conservative or someone black espousing conservative views that they're automatically or ultimately a sellout, a race traitor, or the phrase Uncle Tom. And as a side note, I'm going to talk about Uncle Tom. Now, Uncle Tom is a character from Harriet Beecher Stowe's Uncle Tom's Cabin, or Life Among the Lowly. That was the name of the novel. And Tom was a character in the novel that he was not a militant rebellious slave. He endured beatings. He endured this. Now, Tom was a very religious man in the book, and in addition to that, this Uncle Tom character was based off a real life character by the name of Josiah Henson. And when I did a little research on Josiah Henson, there's nothing that speaks step and fetch it or sell out to me. In fact, I read that he not only got freedom when he was able to get freedom for himself, then he got freedom for his family. Then he set up like a colony or a place where blacks that had escaped slavery could go and get job skills and work training. So if someone calls you an Uncle Tom, consider that a compliment and not an insult, because Uncle Tom started taking a negative connotation, I believe, because of a minstrel show. So remember that if you are conservative and you're black and you happen to watch this video, if someone does call you an Uncle Tom, consider that a compliment. However, I do feel that when black conservatives get on shows like The O'Reilly Factor or Hannity, or they align themselves with the likes of Ann Coulter or Rush Limbaugh, I feel like when they get on their programs, they seem to throw other blacks under the bus. This sort of, I'm a good Negro. Those other Negroes don't know what to do with themselves. And I feel like Herman Cain. I feel like Herman Cain is throwing black people under the bus. I feel like at times there's a preacher by the name of the Reverend Jesse Lee Peterson. I feel he's throwing blacks under the bus. And in some cases, I feel like Star Parker is throwing black people under the bus. So, excuse me, I dropped something there. I don't mind the conservative views. I just don't like the aligning yourself with these people. Oh, I know that the Republican Party, when it started, it overtook the Whig Party, and the Republican Party ran on the anti-slavery platform. But during the 1960s, I believe the Republican Party flipped, it changed. Some accredit it to Barry Goldwater. He wrote the book Conscience of a Conservative. He was also against civil rights. And one thing that this Elamine host talked about was that many blacks feel the Republican Party doesn't really address our issues. And yes, we know that the Democratic Party has only catered to blacks because it has been politically expedient for them. But way too often, when I see a Republican behind someone's name, I feel like as a black man, I can't throw my lot in with that Republican candidate just because I feel like the Republican Party is, excuse my French, F them niggers, and that's kind of how I feel. Now, if you happen to be conservative and black and you want to break me down and school me, that's fine. But as of right now, I feel like the Republican Party hasn't even tried to reach out to the black community. And many of these blacks that they have sitting on their boards tend to be, well, they tend to come off as stepping fetchits. And to those type of blacks that are conservative and are aligning themselves with the likes of Ann Coulter or Sean Hannity or whomever, my name for you won't be Uncle Tom because you're not an Uncle Tom because you're not helping your people like the likes of Larry Elder or Angela McGlowan or Angela McGowan. I'm not sure if I got her name right. I'm going to call you Uncle Ruckus's or Clayton Bigsby's. Now, Uncle Ruckus is a character from the comic strip and the television series The Boondocks. It's an animated series created by Aaron McGruder. And on the Boondocks, there's this man named Uncle Ruckus. He's very dark, very black skinned, and all he talks about is how he hates black people. How he hates black people and how these so-called unruly niggas is upsetting the good white man. He even started a Church of the White Jesus in one episode, and he believed that if he preached his message, he would get to go to white heaven with Ronald Reagan. Um, and Clayton Bigsby was a character created by Dave Chappelle on the Chappelle Show. It was a black man who was blind all his life, and he was raised around white people, and no one ever told him he was black. So he grew up to be a white supremacist. So he was the blind black white supremacist who wrote books and even had a successful white supremacist movement. And of course, so in my estimation, if I feel that a black man or black woman is throwing us under the bus, quote unquote, you won't be an Uncle Tom to me because Josiah Henson did good things for his people. You will be a Uncle Ruckus or a Clayton Bigsby. You won't be an Oreo. You are Uncle Ruckus. You won't be a banana. Well, excuse me. That's a whole nother discussion altogether. You won't be an Oreo. You won't be a what's the word I'm looking for? You're not gonna be an Uncle Tom. You're not gonna be an Aunt Thomasina. You're not even gonna be a house Negro. You're just gonna be Uncle Ruckus or a Clayton Bigsby. And that may have been slightly redundant, but I just wanted to get that one out there. Um, I have a little bit more to say, so I'm going to stop the video right here, and then I'm just going to go on with part two. To be continued.